For this first episode of 12 Days of Murder, I've decided to cover the case of the 2007 Carnation Massacre that happened in Carnation, Washington. And so I hope you like my take on it, and let's just get started.
You had your fun, bet you're sorry now. You dressed me in white to just lay me down. I would've stayed till death took me out, but then you fucked up and gave me the gun. So I'll give you one more shot.
Of course, we gotta start off with our killer. In this case, we actually have two, so I guess multiple killers is kind of a thing now on this channel. And so Michelle Anderson was born sometime in 1978. Michelle's parents were Wade and Judy, and they had been married for 31 years. Wade was an engineer, and Judy worked with the post office. They had three children, Mary, Scott, and Michelle. So Michelle's the youngest. Scott was married to Erica, and they had two children together, Olivia and Nathan, who were 5 and 3. Scott Russell Anderson was born on December 24, 1975, in Simi, California. The majority of his childhood was spent in Carnation, Washington, and he was a member of the football, baseball, track, and wrestling team. He had graduated from Settercrest High School in 1994 with honors. He would then go on to the University of Washington for a degree in business administration. Erica, who was his wife, was actually his high school sweetheart, and she was born on April 23rd, 1975, in Seattle. And the two of them would actually go on to get married October 24th, 1999 in Vegas. Scott was a man that was with the family when he wasn't working, while Erica stayed at home. Mary was the closest to her mother, however, not much is actually said about Mary. They both loved gardening, and Judy actually wanted Mary to take her job that she had left for 17 years. Michelle had also attended Settercrest and was described to have been a loner. Despite being unemployed, Michelle was able to somehow lend Scott $40,000.
Damn!
What it was for, like the actual reason why, I could not find why.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
It says that the two of them, so Scott and Michelle, did try to start a car painting business, which is called Pure Evil Customs.
Evil!
And so then, of course, we get introduced to our other killer, which is Joe. And so Michelle and Joe, well, I guess his name is Joseph McEnroe, legally, but we're calling him Joe for this. So Michelle and Joe met online sometime in 2002, while Michelle was in Arizona. And 2004, they moved onto the trailer on Wade and Judy's property and immediately put black trash bags on all the windows. They were living on the property of Michelle's parents as they couldn't afford to pay rent at another apartment. They then put up a wire to keep the neighbors on their side of a made-up line. They would lash out at neighbors over the smallest things sometimes. They would also take the trash out only at night so that no one could see. Around in 2007, apparently she was still unemployed, but Joe was working at Target. Michelle's parents, of course, because she was like, I don't know, I think she was like getting into her 30s. She was going to start making her pay rent. Michelle tried to get back the money that Scott owed her, but her parents were on his side, so they're like, he doesn't owe you any money. This, of course, made Michelle snap. And so on Christmas Eve 2007, they drove to Michelle's parents' house around 4 p.m. and Michelle shot at her father. The gun jammed, so Joe shot him instead. The mother was distracted by Joseph, who would later be killed by him. They took the bodies to the shed where they spent an hour mopping up the blood. Scott, Erica, Olivia, and Nathan would show up soon after because apparently they were all meeting up at Wayne and Judy's house. Michelle and Scott started arguing about the money that Scott had owed her. Erica had called 911, but the call had been interrupted. So Scott, Erica, Olivia, and Nathan were sadly all killed in the living room. With the 911 Erica made, with it being like interrupted and stuff, 2 deputies did go out to the scene, but they were turned away because they couldn't get into the gate because apparently like the gate was locked.
Really, nigga?
So they just went away after that. And then Joseph had apologized to the kids before Olivia and Nathan before killing them. His reason for wanting to like take the kids out was because he didn't want the kids to grow up without their biological parents, but also he didn't want them to be witnesses because I don't know if they would have recognized him, but they definitely would have recognized their aunt. So then the day after Christmas, so then December 26th, so 2 days after the actual murder, a co-worker of Judy, apparently her best friend, had came to check on her when she failed to come into work because, it wasn't like her. So the gate was still locked, so she just went around it, and that's how she got in. And this is when she discovered Scott, who she initially thought had carbon monoxide poisoning, and started taking him inside, because I guess Scott was found outside. And this is until she saw the shot in his head, and that's where she found the rest of the victims. She then goes to call 911. Michelle is now considered a suspect because, where is she? Linda was told to wait inside with the bodies in case the killer was still there, and was left waiting 32 minutes alone by herself.
Oh, hell no!
Police arrive on the property and find all 6 victims and find that Michelle was living on the property with Joe, but the trailer was empty when they checked it. Michelle and Joe had a plan but couldn't decide whether to go to Oregon or Canada.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
I have to go.
Michelle and Joe went back to the scene where they were going to pretend to be the first one to find the bodies, but of course by the time they went back, the police were already there, so they're like, that plan is out the window. When asked where they were going as to why they weren't there, they claimed they were going to go to Vegas to get married. When asked for proof of the marriage, they claimed they got lost and decided to go back home. She did say that she saw her family on the eve before going to Vegas. So the last time she claimed to see her family was the day of the murder. The police then asked why the two of them were even there. Michelle would eventually confess and say that she originally came back from Vegas for her wallet and fruit. And then she confessed that she was tired of people stepping on her and asked Joe to help her kill her family. She was upset with her brother for not paying the $40,000 that he owed her, and with her parents taking her side. Also, she was upset that she would have to start paying rent, since the 2 of them had been living there rent-free for a year. And so 2 weeks before the murder, they decided that the family had to die. So then, of course, all 6 victims ended up having their funerals together, and the community gathered in. The trial would not actually take place for another 8 years. How it got delayed that far back, I don't even know. A psychologist from Defense and Protection was there to see if Michelle was legally sane during the time of the murders. Michelle contracts a new station to see if she could be put to death because she was found to be sane. It was due to the prosecutor wanting the death penalty.
Death to all of them.
But 4 years later, the judge claimed that they couldn't do the death penalty. The death penalty could only be done if everything was laid out. And so Michelle claimed that Joe's charges should be dropped and that she should be charged with kidnapping Joe as well for making him do it with her. The court obviously didn't agree and they continued on with the case anyway. The trial had another stop when Michelle's defense lawyer had a bloody envelope from the crime scene. She was kicked off the case because of this. The prosecutor was kicked off because racially charged comments in another case pushing it back even further. The case would eventually be sent to the Supreme Court and said the judge was wrong to stop a potential death penalty case. One of Michelle's exes named Mark had came in about their long-term relationship, and after he left, that's when Joe had moved in. So I guess she just moved Joe right in after they broke up. And so then, after Michelle was arrested, she called Mark and demanded to her an attorney.
Bitch. The dog.
So, of course, the prosecutor wanted death, but defense says that Joe was mentally ill. Joe was on medication during the trial, and so all his emotions were, coming out. You can see he's, very emotional on the stand. He even admits that he was being used with Michelle. His upbringing was looked at, and it was found that he had a physical and verbally abusive mother. His mother had claimed that he was a good kid, however, he did break ties due to money, and the mom had never met Michelle, they'd only talked on the phone. And so, despite this, Joseph had even told his mother that he wanted to marry her. Joseph was lonely with mostly online friends. It was said on 4 different times he'd either flown or drove to see someone he had met online and sent his stuff there prior to getting there. And the last time apparently was Michelle. And so she had apparently used pictures of her from when she was younger. She started taking over the relationship immediately. She limited how much time online he had and did let him get a driver's license. He even volunteered to cut off his own penis after an accusation of being a sexist.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
And Michelle had even told him that she couldn't go to a new level as long as her parents were still living. Joe would end up getting charged with 6 counts of murder and get life in prison in 2015. Michelle would get the same punishment in the following year of 2016. And so yeah, that was the case of the Carnation Massacre. Some of you are probably wondering why Mary Anderson, the other sister, wasn't exactly there, and apparently it was because she apparently had felt sick around the time, and so she just didn't go, and so she ended up getting a call regarding what happened, so she felt they had. And so Mary, other than Michelle, of course, is like the sole survivor pretty much, and so Michelle is obviously in prison. So Mary feels that had she went, she obviously would have been killed because remember the children were killed because they were witnesses. So she definitely would have been killed because, well, that's her sister. She definitely would have been able to recognize at least her sister, if not the both of them. And so yeah, that was the tragic case of the 2007 Carnation Massacre. I hope you guys learned something new, and I hope you enjoy your Christmas with this first episode of 12 Days of Murder, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Oh my God, I won. Damn, it just done. You had your fun, bet you're sorry now. You dressed me in white to just lay me down. I would've stayed till death took me out, but then you fucked up and gave me the gun. So I'll give you one more shot. You think that I'm crazy, I know. You wanna just leave me, then go. Blood on my hands, you're already dead, but I'll give you one more shot. Your body is cold, but I'm hot. You think that I'm playing, I'm not. You know how this ends, I'll put you to rest with one more shot. I used to hold ya all through the night till I saw the purple under your eyes. Oh, I'm not surprised. You're still doing drugs, but like to pretend that you